Wow, we have a vocal distortion there. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back in the studio with a good cup of coffee for one more vocal analysis. I saw that this one is doing really well and this song was recommended to me, so I was like, why not? Let's listen to it with you guys. The song is called What If I Miss You by Janine Berdin. And I never heard Janine before. I never heard this song, so I'm curious and excited to listen to the song with you guys for the very first time. It seems like it is a really nice, I would say, well, maybe not exactly acoustic. I can see an electric guitar, an electric bass, and a drum kit, but I can also see an acoustic guitar, and it seems a cozy-ish kind of radio station performance. So let's see how it goes. If you're new to the channel, my name is Kyle Lish. I'm a singer-songwriter and voice teacher. As a singer-songwriter, I just released, in fact, the day that I'm recording this video, I just released actually today. My latest single is called Someone Else Already. If you are into pop music, pop ballads, those heartbreaking sad songs, you might like the song. I'll leave it up here, and I'll also ask my editor to leave the song play in the background. Honestly, I would love to hear your feedback on it. It means a lot to me whenever you guys share your thoughts on my own music. And I also know that sometimes you'll be listening to vocal coaches and you'll become curious about how they sound when they are actually singing for real. So yeah, give it a listen, let me know your thoughts. Now, as a vocal coach slash voice teacher, my work is focused and based on laryngeal biomechanics and physiology. Basically, what the muscles that we have inside our larynxes, they do in order to achieve this really nice and rich sounds that we have in contemporary singing. That's also what will be guiding this analysis here. We'll be listening to Janine Berdin, and we will be trying to identify what's happening at a physiological level so that we can also reach similar sounds by doing the same behaviors. Now, without further ado, let's listen to What If I Miss You by Janine Berdin.
Wish 1075.
How could I forget your pretty face? When you go to places, do you think of me? Please think of me. A year has passed and I thought I've moved on.
This is beautiful. I like the guitar. One thing that I already want to mention, because this is so interesting to see the distance between her mouth and the microphone. She's just keeping a close distance, which is usually a good sign. It is always a sign of good vocal control whenever we can keep the microphone closer. And I don't know, I never heard her before, so that might change in the future. And I'm like, oh, yeah. But right now, she's keeping the microphone really close. The sound that she's producing is also quite soft, which requires the microphone that close. But at the end of the day, one of the worst things that we can do to our voices, regardless of the sound that we are producing, here in this channel we talk a lot about vocal distortions. Yeah! For instance, vocal distortions. Lots of people think that vocal distortions are harmful for the voice, but in fact, vocal distortions themselves are not harmful or dangerous. The thing is, regardless of the technique, if you sing with too much volume, you put your vocal folds and all of the other laryngeal muscles, but especially the vocal folds and the mucosa that revests the vocal folds, you put those structures under too much stress. The muscles need to be performing fine adjustments. You are sending too much pressure, and that's not a good combination. You need to send just the right amount of air pressure to be able to precisely pressurize the larynx with air so that the larynx can do whatever you want the larynx to do. So again, it's always a good sign when the singer can keep the microphone close, because it means that they are adjusting that level of air pressure to the point in which, okay, I'm getting the sound that I want, but I'm not overdoing it. I'm not getting more volume than what was actually needed for that specific sound. The adjustment, the sound slash vocal scheme that she's using here is what we call inside Vocal Anthropophysiology, which is the theoretical framework that I use as a voice teacher. That's what we call a breathy voice. Hey, this is a breathy voice. We have a couple muscles inside the larynx, the posterior cricoretinoid muscles, that can open the vocal folds to allow some leak of air that causes this breathiness right there. And that's precisely what we're having here.
But I've moved on.
Moved on. She's not singing moved on. That would be active vocal folds. The vocal folds are resisting more against that air pressure. No, she's keeping it chill.
I admit with you one night.
Even when she's going a bit higher. High, this would be the F sharp, right? High, this would be the F sharp. Still passive, still breathing. I wonder about the backing vocals though.
Oh, please come back to me. Won't you come back to me?
I wonder if the backing vocals were pre-recorded because I don't see anyone singing the backing vocals right there.
People,
That people at least started active.
people,
People! That was actually way higher than I anticipated. People! A B flat under the high C. Well, this is what we call inside vocal anthropophysiology a warn voice, the voice that you would use to warn someone about something. It's pretty much belting. It doesn't sound that strong, I know, and that's because of the shaping that she has for the vocal tract. If you pay attention, she's making the sounds a bit brighter by narrowing the structures, lowering the soft palate a little bit, maybe raising the base of the tongue.
people,
People! So it also sounds brighter. It's not only stronger, because now we're talking about active vocal folds, but it's also a bit brighter.
come and go.
Passive again. Come and go.
Sometimes
Beautiful.
call me your favorite one last time.
Time. Breathy voice again. We have a bit more space. It sounds a little bit darker, but it's not too much.
I'll never get to find no one like you.
Wow. We have a vocal distortion there.
Never get to find no one.
Find no one. This is what we call a creaky voice. Not a fry. Fry would be as soon as we start to, well, the fry doesn't have a fundamental pitch, right? The vocal folds are pretty much closed, so they're not vibrating to create that fundamental pitch. As soon as we start to let go a little bit, that's what characterizes a creaky voice, and that's what she's doing right here.
Never get to find no one.
No one, yeah. Now, one thing about the creaky voice, it doesn't have a lot of volume. Some vocal distortions, let's say this narrow voice, yeah, the phaser voice, yeah, they have more volume. We call those the distortions with continuity of pressure. That's not the case for the creaky voice. The creaky voice is always quieter than pretty much anything else that you might be doing with your voice. And that's the reason why everything to this point is so chill. It's the same with the creaky voice. We are not raising the volume a little bit, even though distortions in general, they sound, especially after the microphone, they sound a little bit stronger because of all of the physical phenomena that are related to using a microphone and how some of the frequencies will be excited and will sound a little bit louder at the end for whoever is listening. But the creaky voice itself, it's super quiet, especially if you're talking about having no microphone. The environment pre-microphone. So acoustically, it sounds really small. With the microphone, it sounds a little bit louder.
Like you. You were all I wanted. You were all I need.
Okay, I love that transition there.
You were all that
A little bit of a YOLO there.
I wanted. You were all I need. Us is all I'll be. People come and go. Sometimes call me your favorite one last time.
Time! Vocal folds active, warm voice, but because again we have the narrowing of the vocal tract, we have a brighter tone. We call this a warm horn voice. All right, the simple vocal scheme, the warm voice, plus the narrowing of the vocal tract that makes a warm horn voice. We have a brighter tone there. She's lowering the palate pretty much.
Time.
Time! She's not going for time. No, we have that brighter tone right there. Time! This is amazing.
I have swallowed.
And here we have a darker tone.
I have swallowed.
Swallow. More space.
All my pride. Accepted the end of you and I. But what if I miss you for the rest?
Again, keeping that brighter tone. We do have a little bit of a variation when it comes to the distance between the mouth and the microphone, which is not bad here. She's still super close, even though, yes, you are being farther from the microphone. It's not a huge difference. It is pretty much from here and then to here. That's pretty much what we would expect from an experienced and skilled singer. Another vocal scheme, still vocal folds passive like the breathy voice, but this one does not have that breathiness. That's what we call a Gregorian voice. The Gregorian voice, we have more subglottic pressure, meaning that we are sending more air and we don't have that breathiness. So again, we have the warm voice as an active vocal scheme that she's using. Hey! The warm horn in this case, right? Because we're narrowing the structures. And then we also have the breathy voice and the Gregorian voice, which is, well, both of them are passive, one with the breathiness, the breathy voice, and then the Gregorian voice without that breathiness. Again, both of them, the vocal folds are more relaxed. Beautiful. So good.
Where do I go from here?
I wasn't expecting this. Love the orders. I had no idea. This is heavy. This is amazing. I think she's going up to the F sharp 5. Yeah, warm horn voice. In this case, because she's singing so high, at that point, narrowing the vocal tract is a must. We cannot go that high without narrowing the vocal tract. Because of that, we assume the horn voice as a given. So the name for this technique here would become horn warm voice instead of warm horn voice. It's just a pedagogical thing that because we are trying to describe the physiology with these names. If the physiology changes, for this case, we have important, significant changes that happen above the high C. Then we also change the name, but it's pretty much, if we're talking about the sound, the same thing. We have vocal folds and active tension, and we have the narrowing of the vocal tract to make that brighter tone. We have a little bit of distortion there as well. I think she's going for a creaky. I can't really do a creaky that high. I would do it with something in the direction of a scream phaser. Wow. Wow. We have some yodels there. Some of them I think were intentional, some of them weren't. Still sounds amazing. Some distortion as well. Some distortions there as well. This is so cool. This is so nice. Guys, honestly, I was not expecting all of that. I thought, okay, it will be a nice, chill pop song. I was wrong. And oh, it feels good to be wrong in this case. And distortions like this narrowing of the vocal tract. It's so close to get them when you're there.
How could I forget your pretty face?
The dynamics.
When you go to places, do you think of me? Please think of me.
Wishclusive on Wish 107.
Vibrato. Beautiful. Guys, she's pretty much representing what we say about why we study vocal technique. The function of vocal technique is to express emotion. And when people say that, oh, if you learn vocal technique, you sound robotic, that's not the case at all. She sounds that rich because she has tools to express whatever she wants to express with her voice. That's what those sounds are for. And she's doing that magically there. It's great. Well, at least that's my opinion, but I want to hear yours. What do you think of the song? What do you think of this particular performance? What do you think of Janine Berdin? I don't know if I'm pronounce her name right, but if I'm not, please correct me in the comments. Let me know which other of her songs you want me to hear here next. If you want to become my singing student and learn all of these techniques and much more, check out the link in the description to get all of the info on my online singing program, Building Your Voice. In there we cover a range of different techniques, including everything that we discuss here. We talk about how to belt, how to sing low notes with power, but also how to be really expressive with your voice using the passive vocal schemes. We have a complete module on vocal distortions. How to practice and apply them in a healthy and safe way for your voice. We have a vocal exercise library with exercise for you to practice each of the techniques. We talk about ornaments such as yodels, vibratos, runs, all of that and much more. If you want to know everything that's covered inside the program, click the link below. If you are curious about my own singing, again, sometimes you'll be listening to vocal coaches and wondering how they sound when they sing for real. I'll leave a card up here for you to check out my original music. It would mean the world to me to get your feedback on my songs. That's all for today. You enjoy your day, you enjoy your coffee, and remember, if your concepts cannot be seen here in the real world, then they must change and not the world. See you in the next one.